It's absurd, Sir William. I shall never believe it. Never. Mr. Collins came here expressly to propose marriage to one of my daughters.
That may have been his purpose in coming here, Mrs. Bennet.
Oh, there you are, Elizabeth. This is all your fault.
What's my fault, Mamma?
He says Charlotte is going to marry Mr. Collins. If that isn't your fault, I don't know whose it is.
Charlotte? How delightful, Sir William.
Thank you, Miss Jane.
But Charlotte... Charlotte's going to marry Mr. Collins?
On Tuesday week, to be precise. Lady Catherine de Bourgh doesn't believe in long engagements.
But, Sir William, Mr. Collins wants to marry Lizzie.
Oh, Lydia, be quiet.
The child is right, Lizzie. Are you quite sure, Sir William, that you haven't been misinformed?
I'm quite positive, Mrs. Bennet.
Mrs. Bennet.
Oh, there you are. Come in and share in the rejoicing.
Oh, dear Mrs. Bennet, I know you'll understand my feelings. Such a happy event. But then to lose one's dearest daughter, well, I'm still quite overcome.
It's probably the unexpectedness of it that has overcome you, Lady Lucas. And Mr. Collins' conduct is so very odd. Perhaps some tea will revive you.
Oh. Lizzie.
Dear Charlotte, Come with me.
Well, Lady Lucas, little did I think that Charlotte would one day take my place as mistress of this house. No doubt she and Mr. Collins would like to go over the place thoroughly and see what they're going to inherit. Mr. Collins, why don't you go to the pantry and get the maid to show you the silver?
Oh, Charlotte, dear, I beg you, postpone the marriage for a time. I'm only thinking of your happiness.
Happiness, Lizzie? In marriage, happiness is just a matter of chance.
But Charlotte, his defects of character, you know him so little.
Well, ignorance is bliss, Lizzie. If one's to spend one's life with a person, it's best to know as little as possible of his defects. After all, one will find them out soon enough.
Well, luckily Hunsford isn't the end of the world.
You must come and visit me, Lizzie, very soon. Promise.
I promise.
Good.
Guarda, Charlotte, com'è ridicolo. Ha deciso di prendere moglie e intende farlo con l'orologio alla mano.
E di che ti lamenti? Meglio lui di tanti altri che ci mettono degli anni per fare una dichiarazione.
Ma Charlotte, è un mostro.
Non esagerare, se fossi in te ci ripenserei.
Oh, per carità.
Ma meglio lui di un ufficiale. E ci fanno la corte, sempre impazziscono per noi. Poi cambiate la guarnigione e cambiano anche l'innamorata.
Zitta, zitta che sta arrivando. Ora te lo presento. Cerca di consolarlo un poco.
Signorina Elizabeth.
Oh, signor Collins, la stavo giusto cercando.
Forse desidera riparlarmi.
No. Volevo solo presentarle la mia più cara amica, Charlotte Lucas.
È una vera fortuna per me.
Troppo gentile.
Bene, cugino, ora l'accompagni a prendere un po' di torta. In fondo, lei è di casa.
Prego. Le piacciono i dolci, signorina?
Confesso che ho questa debolezza.
E sa cucinarli?
Ho delle ricette segrete.
Davvero? Oh, per una donna l'arte del cucinare è indispensabile, oltre ad altre virtù, si intende. Vede, per me la donna deve conoscere canto, disegno, danza, lingue, saper conversare su ogni argomento, sapersi muovere con grazia e a tutto questo unire il risultato di un affinamento spirituale derivato da molte letture.
E nient'altro, scusi?
Dimenticavo la musica. Lei conosce la musica, signorina?
Certamente, quel tanto che basta per accontentare chi apprezza la buona cucina.
Certo, sono una madre invidiabile. Credetemi, Lucas, se mi rimane un solo dispiacere è per la vostra povera Charlotte.
Primo, considero giusto che un ecclesiastico con una buona disponibilità di mezzi come me dia alla sua parrocchia il buon esempio del matrimonio. Secondo, sono convinto che ciò aggiungerà molto alla mia felicità. Terzo, e questa è l'opinione di colei che ho l'onore di chiamare mia benefattrice.
Auguri, auguri con tutto il cuore, auguri di bene e di pace ognor, Brindiamo con te, brindiamo per te, felicità.
Evviva!
Viva la sposa!
Cari, quanto mi sento commossa. Mi pare di averlo dato la luce io questo matrimonio.
È stata una gravidanza un po' veloce, deve essere un matrimonio settimino.
Oh, coraggio, sia forte. Vede com'è felice Lady Lucas.
Lo so, ma per noi padri è un'altra cosa. Il mio regalo di nozze lo conoscete. Vi presenterò a corte.
Bella idea. Non ho mai visto un regalo di nozze più nobile e più economico.
La mia gratitudine, signori, si accresce enormemente di fronte a tanta benevolenza. Cugino Bennet, signora, riceverete presto da me una lettera di ringraziamento per le numerose prove di stima e considerazione che avete voluto darmi in questi ultimi tempi, per me particolarmente importanti. E non ho voluto mancare, nell'intraprendere il viaggio non lungo in verità, che dovrà portare la mia dolce sposa nella sua nuova e dolce dimora, di fermarmi in questa bella e solida casa per esternarvi la pienezza della mia riconoscenza.
Grazie, cugino, grazie. Con 2 sole parole, è riuscito a dare il vero significato di un sentimento.
Vorrei ancora dire...
Su via, caro, si farà tardi, la carrozza aspetta.
È giusto che prima di sera vorrei presentarti a Lady Catherine.
Ma come mai Jenny e Elizabeth non sono ancora ritornate?
Non lo so, cara, abbi pazienza. Sai, poverette, non pensavamo che partiste così presto, all'alba. Ma verranno presto, stai tranquilla. Sorella mia, è pensare che una persona così fine sarebbe potuta toccare ad Elizabeth. Le ha fatto la dichiarazione in questa stanza, lei l'ha rifiutato.
Oh sì, è una gran perdita.
Felicità! Auguri, felicità. Intanto questa casa sarà sua. È tutto per colpa della tua Elizabeth.
D'accordo, ma neanche la tua Jenny mi pare che sia arrivata a un risultato più positivo, tranne quello encomiabilissimo d'aver messo in fuga un brillante giovanotto che, come avevo previsto, era venuto qui unicamente per andare a caccia di quaglie.
Sì, vabbè. Jenny non è a colpa. Lei l'avrebbe preso, signor Bingley, se avesse potuto. Non ha rifiutato una domanda di matrimonio, lei, mentre quella sciagurata...
Via, smettetela di dare spettacolo. Eccole che tornano.
Ma che ha, Jenny?
Caro, mi spiaceva andarmene senza salutarti. Anche ora che sono sposata resterai la mia più cara amica, vero Elizabeth?
Oh, certo, cara. Verrai ancora a trovarci e staremo insieme.
Lo spero di sì, ma tu intanto mi scriverai spesso, ci conto.
Senz'altro.
E senti, vorrei chiederti ancora una cosa. In primavera papà verrà a stare un po' da me e promettimi che ci verrai anche tu.
Beh, è un po' presto per decidere.
No, ti prego, devi promettermelo ora.
Beh, verrò.
Scusami, sai, di tutto. Non equivocare quello che ho fatto. Salveremo la nostra amicizia, vero Lisi?
Certo, cara. Ma promettimi di non parlare mai più di tutto questo.
Meneer Collins, u bent ook vroeg uit de veren?
Goedemorgen, mijn jonkvrouw Charlotte. Mag ik zeggen dat u er onbegrijpelijk fleurig uitziet na het bal van vannacht?
Ik heb me nog nooit zo geamuseerd als gisteravond. Wat u me allemaal verteld hebt over uw moestuin in Hunsford heeft me eenvoudig de tijd doen vergeten. Mijn vader wilde me eenvoudig niet geloven. Hij zei, dat kan niet. Zulke snijbonen.
Het weer moet natuurlijk ook medewerken.
Maar voor alles moet men liefde hebben voor het gewas. En een vaste hand van zaaien en planten.
Lady Catherine zag mijn zonnebloemen en zei... Dominee, een man als u mag toch niet langer vrijgezel blijven?
Wat een bewonderenswaardige vrouw. Ik zou er alles voor geven om haar te mogen ontmoeten.
Jonkvrouw Charlotte, bent u op weg door uw woonstee?
Nee, ik was eigenlijk van plan naar Longbourn te gaan, naar de familie Bennet.
Mag ik dan de eer hebben u daarheen te begeleiden?
Ik hoopte al dat ik dat genoegen zou mogen smaken.
Neemt u dan mijn arm als stut en steun. Op een wandeling die zich overigens bijzonder aangenaam laat aanzien. Past op uw hoofd.
Oh, wat is er nu weer?
Charlotte Lucas! Met onze neef! Met onze volle neef! Charlotte? Kijk, kijk, hij kust haar de hand. Die valse slang! Hoe heeft in zo'n korte tijd zo ver weten te brengen? Die intrigante! Oh, ik overleef het niet.
Charlotte en Dominique Collins. Arme Charlotte.
Gelukkige Elisabeth.
Pleasant walk this is. When I inherit this estate, I shall, of course, attend to its cultivation myself.
Gardening is a very healthful exercise. I shall encourage it as much as possible.
Those trees will have to come down. They barbarize the landscape.
A pair of urns would do quite well instead.
I favour a small Gothic ruin.
Or perhaps a temple, dedicated to Aphrodite, whose spell has been cast upon these two young persons.
Engaged to Mr. Collins? Impossible.
Good Lord, Sir William, how can you tell such a story?
Do not you know that Mr. Collins wants to marry Lizzie? Only 3 days ago he made her an offer in this very room, and he was broken-hearted by her refusal. They will end in 3 weeks. Charlotte will be mistress of Longbourn.
Hush, my dear, I'm not dead yet.
5 or 10 years more.
Courage, my dear, do not give way to such gloomy thoughts. There's always the hope that I may survive them. Sir William, Mr. Collins, may I offer you my congratulations. And you, Miss Lucas, the utmost felicity in your great good fortune. Hey, Lizzie?
I can see what you're feeling. You must be surprised, very much surprised. But I hope when you've had time to think it over, you will be satisfied with what I have done. I am not romantic. You know, I never was. I ask only a comfortable home. I may never get another offer.
Charlotte. Well, at least she won't die an old maid, as 1 or 2 people not 100 miles from here are likely to do.
She's right, Mr. Bennet. My little Lydia has more sense in her head than everyone here put together. I am the only one with grace to acknowledge it. No. To think that she might have been Mr. Collins' wife today, had it not been for her own perverseness.
It gratifies me, my dear, to find that Charlotte Lucas, whom I used to think tolerably sensible, is almost as foolish as you are yourself.
Mr. and Mrs. Bennet, how kind of you to grace my humble nuptials with your presences. As my patroness, the Right Honourable Lady Catherine de Bourgh, has condescendingly said on many occasions, the ties of blood are second only to those of rank.
I do. Oh, Mr. and Mrs. Gardner, how extremely good of you to come, and all the way from London.
We wish you every kind of happiness.
And joy in your new home. Dear Jane. Dearest Eliza, I shall depend on hearing from you very often.
That you certainly shall.
And I have another favour to ask you. Will you come and see me? My father's promised to visit me. Why do you not come with him? Of course I will.
Goodbye. Mrs. Collins, loath as I am to tear you from the embraces of my fair cousin Eliza, I have to inform you that the carriage awaits.
I'm coming. Dearest Eliza, you promised to come.
Bye! Bye-bye! Bye! Bye!
Why, Mr. Collins?
Miss Lucas, I must speak with you most urgently.
But of course, Mr. Collins.
You would make me the happiest of men, Miss Lucas, to be able to return to Lady Catherine with the news of my betrothal.
Very well, Mr. Collins. I will marry you.
My dear Miss Lucas, my dear Charlotte, if I may, you are too amiable. Let me reassure you on two counts. No ungenerous reproach as to your lack of fortune shall pass my lips when we are married. And secondly, that had I not deemed it seemly to offer myself first to the Bennet family, that the eventual loss of their father might not entail the loss of their home as well, I should have singled you out directly as the companion of my future life. Such amiability, such economy, such sense.
I only ask one thing, Mr. Collins. That we keep our betrothal a secret until I have had the opportunity of speaking to Elizabeth.
But I long to publish my prosperous love. How can I keep silent?
You must try, Mr. Collins. You must try.
Early one morning, just as the sun was rising, I heard a young maid sing in the valley below. Oh, don't deceive me, oh, never leave me. How could you use a poor maiden so?
Is something the matter, Mr. Collins? Does something distress you?
Indeed, sir, nothing is the matter. I am the happiest of men.
It is Mary's singing that entrances him, Mr. Bennet. She's such a clever girl, so talented. Had you not noticed, Mr. Collins? Well, Jane has beauty, Elizabeth has... well, but Mary has intelligence. It is a great quality in a wife, is it not, Mr. Bennet?
How would I know a thing like that, Mrs. Bennet?
Engaged to Mr. Collins, my dear Charlotte. Impossible.
Do you think it impossible for Mr. Collins to procure any woman's good opinion because he did not succeed with you?
I'm sorry. I wish you all imaginable happiness, Charlotte.
I see what you're feeling. You must be surprised, very much surprised. I'm not romantic, not like you. I never was. I ask only a comfortable home. And considering Mr. Collins' character, connections, and situation in life, I'm convinced my chance of happiness with him is as fair as most people can boast on entering the marriage state.
Charlotte.
I don't believe a word of it, not a word. Charlotte Lucas engaged to Mr. Collins? It is not possible.
But did not Mr. Collins want to marry Lizzie?
Shh!
clergyman. I mean to be an officer's wife and brush his red coat every morning.
I hope they are happy. Well, they may be happy. Heart finds happiness in the strangest places.
Mr. Collins has been taken in by a hussy.
Oh, the whole world knows Charlotte Lucas to be a hussy.
I have been barbarously used by everyone. So unhappy.
To the library. Do not worry for me. I'm perfectly happy. I'm gratified to discover that Charlotte Lucas, whom I'd always thought of as tolerably sensible, is as foolish as my wife and more foolish than Elizabeth.
Collins has made an offer of marriage to Charlotte Lucas. And she's accepted him.
Charlotte? Engaged to Mr. Collins? Impossible.
The fireplace in the great room at Rosings would be much larger than that. A fireplace of truly prodigious dimensions.
But why should you be surprised, my dear Lizzie? Do you think it incredible that Mr. Collins should be able to procure any woman's good opinion because he was not so happy as to succeed with you?
Charlotte, I didn't mean...
I was surprised. But Charlotte, if Mr. Collins has been so fortunate as to secure your affections, I'm delighted for you both. I see what you're feeling. I'm not romantic, you know. I never was. I ask only a comfortable home. And considering Mr. Collins' character and situation in life, I am convinced that my chance of happiness with him is as fair as most people can boast on entering the marriage state.
My dear Charlotte, Cousin Elizabeth, you can see before you the happiest of men.
Jane, it was such a humiliating spectacle. She knows she's marrying one of the stupidest men in England. I never believed her capable of that.
Lizzie, you do not make allowances for differences of situation and temper. Our cousin, Mr. Collins, is not the cleverest of men, perhaps, but he is respectable. He is not vicious. And as far as fortune goes, it is an eligible match.
Very eligible. You would never think of marrying a man like that simply to secure your own comfort.
No, but Lizzie, not everyone is the same.
Dear Jane, I doubt that you will have to make a choice between marrying for love and marrying for more material considerations.
Though you may, perhaps.
I don't know what will become of us all, indeed, I do not. And I cannot bear to think of Charlotte Lucas being mistress of this house, that I should be forced to make way for her and live to see her take my place in it.
My dear, do not give way to such gloomy thoughts. Let us hope for better things. Let us flatter ourselves that I might outlive you.
When do you go into Kent?
We shall spend the wedding night at Lucas Lodge and then travel to Huntsville on Friday. You will write to me, Lizzie. I believe I'm not likely to leave Kent for some time. I shall depend on hearing from you very often.
That you certainly shall.
My father and Maria are to come to me in March. Lizzie, will you promise to be one of the party? Indeed, you will be as welcome to me as either of them.
Then how could I refuse? But I'll only come if you guarantee me a glimpse of the famous chimney piece at Rosings Park.
That I think you could scarcely avoid, even if you wished to.
Charlotte, have you asked her, Charlotte? Is she to come to Hunsford with us?
Yes.
Good. Oh, I shan't be half so frightened of Lady Catherine if you are with us, Lizzie. Charlotte.
My dear Lizzie, I've come here to tell you the news. Mr. Collins and I are engaged.
Engaged?
Yes.
To be married?
Yes, of course, Lizzie. What other kind of engaged is there? Oh, for heaven's sake, Lizzie, don't look at me like that. There is no earthly reason why I shouldn't be as happy with him as any other.
But he's ridiculous.
Oh, hush. Not all of us can afford to be romantic. I've been offered a comfortable home and protection. There's a lot to be thankful for.
Charlotte.
I'm 27 years old. I've no money and no prospects. I'm already a burden to my parents. And I'm frightened. So don't judge me, Lizzie. Don't you dare judge me.